One of the best ways to learn how to climb better is by watching and learning from other climbers. Today we're going to watch 5 boulder problems from my gym. First, we will watch the sun footage, then I'll be breaking it down into a few things that we can learn from each problem. We're climbing problems that are around V3 to V4 for demonstration purposes, but don't worry, if you can't climb problems at that grade, these tips apply to climbing V0 through V2 problems as well. One mistake I made a lot when I first started climbing was not leaning into moves nearly as much as needed. You can see here how on this climb literally my entire body is leaning towards the right. Over-exaggerate it. Chances are, by over-exaggerating the move, you're actually doing it just the right amount. I went to reach up for the higher hold before changing my mind and reaching for the lower hold. This is where it's important to plan. I'm not saying that you have to plan out every single move, especially if you're just starting out, but taking time to actually look at the climb before you climb it is a game changer. So this hold that Jed's right hand is on is a sloper. A big thing that is helpful when holding slopers is to apply as much directly downward pressure as possible, while also trying to get as much surface area of your hand as possible on the hold. As you can see here, that's why Jed is sinking low, to help apply that downward pressure to the hold. Think about this the next time you climb a slopey problem and try to stay low and underneath the slopers so that they feel less slippery. If you look here, you can see that Jed's toe is pointed towards the direction that he wants to go. It's easy to place your toe so that it would be pointed at the wall, but then it wouldn't allow your hips to stay as close as possible to the wall as needed. Pointing your toes in the right direction also helps with your body's momentum in getting towards the next move.
Thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. Thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. The start of nothing, I had no chance to. Couldn't see you coming. The start of nothing, ooh, I could hate you now. It's quite alright to hate me now. We both know that deep down, the feeling's still deep down.
These purple cone-shaped holds are the weirdest holds to try and hold on to, but Nate does a good job of demonstrating potentially the best way to approach them. My tip for newer climbers is to try multiple different ways of grabbing a hold. Don't be afraid to experiment. Sometimes even just a tiny tweak in the position of a finger can make all the difference. On this move, Nate demonstrates a back step, or a drop knee. A back step is often used to help position your body so that your hips can stay in towards the wall and set yourself up to push with as much force as possible towards your next move. If Nate hadn't backstepped here, then his force would have been going towards the right, the opposite way of where he was trying to go. I'm going to pause here to talk about using your legs. The entire first year that I climbed, I used primarily the power of my arms to get myself up the wall. I literally did not understand that climbing is so much about using your legs and the power of your hip and glute muscles to help push you up. I remember watching a technique video from Rock Entry one day where he talked about using your legs in climbing, and the next day at the gym, literally overnight, I was able to climb an entire grade higher. Absolutely hilarious and also infuriating. Use your legs way more than you think you need to. This is huge. Watch Nate as he uses his legs to push up here and generate power towards the next hold.
It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not.
Here's an example of smearing. Smearing is basically just when you use your feet against the actual wall itself instead of a foothold. Smearing is kind of scary at the beginning because it can be hard to trust your feet to stick, but it's essential in learning to get better at climbing. It's also a good thing to learn if you plan on doing outdoor climbing, because outdoors, the rock is the rock. There are no designated colored holds to be like, hey, place your feet here. Switching feet is a common tactic used to put yourself in a better position for the next move. Just like a lot of the other things we've talked about today, switching feet is something that takes practice. I recommend that if you want to practice, find some footholds that are relatively small and close to the ground, and just go through the movement of feeling what it feels like to switch your feet. It's pretty likely that at first you'll struggle, so don't get discouraged if you keep slipping off in the beginning. With time and practice, this will become a move that feels a lot more normal. Toe hooks are a really great way to relieve some of the tension or strength it takes to keep yourself on the wall. A key to toe hooking is to really pull the top of the foot towards the hold to keep yourself more secure. Toe hooks can feel weird at first, but once you practice them, they can feel really cool and also very helpful. Flagging is a technique used to help stabilize the body on the wall. Oftentimes, flagging is used to counterbalance the body's attempt to barn door or swing outwards off of the wall. Flagging is one of the very first pieces of climbing technique I ever learned and is extremely helpful. Practicing flagging can be as simple as finding the easiest problem or route at your gym and just putting your foot out towards the side on each of the moves to let your body learn how the movement feels. Notice here how Kendall puts her toe just slightly above the hold instead of on the actual hold itself. This is a huge game changer when you're climbing problems with slippery feet. When you put your toe above the hold just slightly, it actually helps you to stay on the hold better, because what happens is when you push up with your legs to go to the next move, your toe will slip down just a bit, and as long as you are pushing hard enough into it, it will slip onto the foothold and stick. On a move like this where you really have to rock over, Something that can be helpful is thinking about pushing your knee up instead of over. What this does is allow you to keep your hips close into the wall and use the power of your hip to help you rock into the next move. Let me know if you learned something in the comments and if you'd like to see more videos like this. You can watch more indoor bouldering videos here if you'd like, and until next time, stay hyped.